Welcome back again to the further adventures of the 1750. Got all that water pump stuff done, and well, I must have bumped this line here, and the rubber injector return tee that was not leaking is now cracked and profusely leaking. So generally what I'll do is it's just as easy to take the muffler off, side panel, just take the exhaust manifold off. The fuel tank comes up over the engine on these, and so that just kind of, I don't know, that gets in the way. You could do it from the top if you tip the fuel tank up. Probably just as much work. And I had already gotten another set of these brass tees like I put on the 1855 project here. So I should have everything to do it. And so, you know, there's what we're looking to have it look like when it's done. And everybody says they're good. I haven't gotten to try this one out yet, so this will make for, you know, trial video. I don't know. Just wanted to show. I started doing some polishing, and then I had to load some corn. That's when I found out the injector was leaking, so I got some corn dust on here. But just did a little buffing Meguiar's number 105. And then actually used a piece of 1000 grit wet sanding paper, and instead of using water, I used the Meguiar's, because there was some bumps here from a time I had to take someone some hay during the winter that I to this day regret getting that slushy stuff on this poor old girl. But that knocked down some of them bumps, cleaned it up, brightened up the paint, put some wax on it afterward to help protect it, shine it up some more. Haven't touched this panel up here, but give you an idea what a little bit of elbow grease will do for old paint. I was working on this panel here, and then right about the E is when the trucker texted that he would be here in about 15 minutes. So I stopped scrubbing and went to loading and found my fuel leak. But you can see, cleaned up the white compared to what was going on before. Let's get to work. I gotta get that panel off, muffler off. Then it should just be a matter of pulling that exhaust manifold. I've got my A-frame under the loader so that I don't become a statistic. Hate to lose all my viewers to Ross, because, you know, then he'd be, well, not the only thing going. Now, to the best of my knowledge, that muffler has been on there probably somewhere in the vicinity of, well, more than 25, pushing 30 years. The dealership was still open. I did a clutch job on it, so I would have had the muffler off pulling the engine. And I can't think of any other instance where I would have had it out there. So this could be fun. Or not. Oh, there was well, that was back when the dealership was open. I put new injectors in it. I would have done this. That was probably around 97. But it always stays inside, so that definitely helps. As we can see, it's pretty crowded in there. If I went from above, I'd have to pull that air cleaner too, but I think right there is the broken one. Oh yeah, it's thoroughly broken. Not a lot of light in there. But what, 6 times 2, 12 nuts, and manifold should slide off. Other than that, bracket right there. We're gonna do it. We're crazy. Stud came out. Another stud come out. That one had to not come off. I'm tempted to use the little ratchet or impact, but it's kind of hard to gauge. I'm not in the mood for broken studs or stripped nuts. So we're just going to roll with this. God, whatever mechanic tightened these last, should have double checked them. I swear it's been a quarter of a century since I've taken this off. At the least. I guess, like I was saying, keep them inside. A good barn will pay for itself. I remember reading an article in one of the farm magazines that, what was it? They said that shed kept equipment average 10 to 20% higher on auction prices. And back then, you know, if you had a couple $100,000 worth of equipment, you know, combine and different things, it was a while back. Well, 10% of that was 20 grand, and 20 grand back then would buy you a decent sized pole barn. So I'm sold, other than, you know, I'm not the kind of guy who sells stuff. So it really doesn't affect my resale value, because you have to be willing to sell. Well, here I was all ready to go prying on stuff, and took another look, and I see where I missed one. Guess I should have a flashlight handy. I got the door open, which is letting lots of light in, but it's also making it kind of contrasty. Yeah, that makes it easier. Now, well, as I was saying, that's hitting right there. So I'm going to take this side panel off, disconnect where it's bolted to the tank, get it to where I can tweak it back just a skosh. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay, I'm hooked on one of the injector lines. Okay, now what are you waiting on? There we go. Okay, there they are. Just a matter of taking off some clamps, and got that special T or line in the middle that tees to return to the tank. Might have to do some adapting there. We'll figure it out. Yeah, looks like the exhaust manifold gaskets didn't quite hold up good enough to probably be reused. I got some on hand though. It's like she could use a good time behind the plow. I do believe this is 1/4 inch. And then there was a special from the factory. They only had the clip down on the bottom Of course, they'd leak. Guys have put hose clamps and stuff up here, and that does help. The biggest thing to do or know is don't overdo it. These have little notches in them for those wires to fit in, 2 different sizes. So you can grab them like that. But a regular pair of pliers usually does the job just as well, or well, close to good enough to where you probably don't have to go out and buy another set of special tools, unless you're looking for an excuse to buy a set of special tools, in which case tell your wife that Oliver guy said it was all right. And look, that clip broke. We won't be needing that. So that ain't a big deal. Now that one's broke. Ping, and that one's broke. Surprised they were sealing up as good as they were. And that one's broke. I'm sure they're the original ones, and then some. That's the thing, these boots, they definitely, if you're gonna go with the rubber ones, get the Master. There's some aftermarket ones out there that are just not worth. They're like half the price, but you get what you pay for. Generally, as long as you don't disturb these, they do all right. Then you get a situation like this where someone got disturbed. It was probably me. This one down on the end, we'll just bend out of the way because it's broken. I'll put my gloves back on. I do think I have a video on putting the rubber ones on. Put them on something or other. And then redid them because I bought the cheap ones. Pay me now or pay me later. We definitely want to be careful with this because I'm hoping to reuse this one. The kit I got comes with new copper lines. But it doesn't have one with a T in it. So we gotta, you know, be careful. Loosen your grip there, buddy. You know, I just noticed it's a little crimped on the end there. Like I say, hopefully we can make her work. But I also wanted to point out, I think it's just a rivet clamped into that one. On 1855, it returns the tank out of the back one, but the tank doesn't go up over the engine on 1855. They had to shorten and square the tank up because they had to have room for a turbocharger, and then they end up putting the air cleaner back in here. And there just wasn't room for a fuel tank anymore. So now we can start going the other way. This ain't taking long. I probably just jinxed myself. The kit I've been buying, that's a John Deere part number, RE27786. It's an A&I kit. It's got pretty much everything you need. I know in 1855 I was a fitting short. I might not be this time just because it tees at the end, or caps off at number 6. But I had to find a couple more, buy some more of those rubber fitting or seals, and I think a couple more nuts to finish up the 1855. We'll see how this comes out. But I'm going to start with this one. Just to, yeah, I might even have to trim some off from that tee. But to get that back into place first, that feels like the most important part. I got the rubber down in there. And I'll probably, well, I'll put the nut on, then slide the rubber seal on. Put the tee on. Get the thread started, hopefully. Come on. There we go. All right. Now let's see. Yeah, I might have to trim a skosh off. Let's see how that's going to fit through that ground seal thing. That's going to work all right. Well, seeing as one end's better than the other, let me go get the tubing cutter and I'll take just that little dinged part off from this end. Come on, baby. Stay true. Hopefully I'm not taking too much off. That looks much cleaner. Oh, so let's see. I was put a nut on, put a rubber on it, and then get this nut started, and then we'll put the next tee on. Yeah. I think that's going to work just fine and dandy. Hopefully I ain't getting my arms in your way too much. Nut, seal, tee. Let's just swing that out. Like I say, it's all still, I didn't crank it down because we want to be able to do this kind of stuff. There. Let's put, oh, probably ought to put this nut and seal on that one. It might need just a skosh more cut off from it too. We'll find out. Yeah, it's looking like it might. Come on. Yep. I call them vibra-loc seals because they can tolerate quite a bit of vibration. As that nut squeezes down, it squeezes the piece of rubber there and just tightens it against everything, seals it up. So yeah, we're gonna have to knock just a little bit off from that. Until you tighten them down, they'll slide in and out easy. But that is not wanting to make the turn. Boy, just a little bit. I should have taken a little more off the other end. Like, yay much. Now, the kit comes with all new tubes. Maybe I said that already. And I think they're pre-cut to John Deere length, which is long, which is fine because, you know, it's easier to cut some off than it is to put it back on. Okay, we should be able to slide that in there. Slide that in there. Just a little bit of back of, or you know, side to side motion. That's not bad because things expand and contract. That's another advantage of those vibra-locs. Why, by George, I think it's going to work. Let's face that up so it's away from the manifold. And then, you know, if I end up taking the head off from this, I have to see it all over again, but that's for another video. Well, let's keep working our way towards the front. They'll use one of their new lines. I should have brought a marker. I would say right in there. Let's pull that out for the moment. Guess where I dropped it? Right down the exhaust hole. That was dumb. Get this bottom nut started before we try to put the cross T or line or whatever that is in. There we go. Just about right. Just barely got it on there. Well, the front one should be pretty easy. Oh. That should work. Oh, that one I cut just a little bit shorter. It'll still have a surface to seal on, so I think I'm fine. Because the seal stays outside of the housing there. So I should be fine. If not, it'll let me know. Still could have just I guess that one's pretty good. Let's make sure these are the right size. Yes, they are. I do believe I got these from MSC. These are the nuts, 1 VP R5. And this is faded a lot, but 1 VP P4. Those are the little rubber seals. Get that in there. Mark that. And just reuse this rivet that's in this boot. Make sure it's pushed in all the way. There, I just need to get a wrench, snug all these babies up. I put the studs back in that came out of the head, took nuts off from them. That way something holds the exhaust manifold gaskets on. I do believe I'm to that point. Got got waylaid with other stuff, so this has been going over the weekend. Turned the fuel back on, pumped up the hand primer lever on the lift pump to try to make sure there's fuel up there. It may or may not have made it there. We'll find out. But so far, no leaks. Okay, we don't need to short out against that. Yeah, I wasn't smart enough to disconnect the power. Maybe I should get smarter. You came out, you will go back in. Boy, yeah. I'm just asking for trouble there. Well, I was using the platform as a tool bench. Yeah, workbench. Anyways, rather than digging all that stuff, I disconnected the battery cable here and taped it off. So now I can install with some level of confidence. Gotta get that exhaust pipe up in through the hood. Yeah, now I can set it on there and not worry it's gonna short out. Yeah, that gives me a little more help. I got this one injection line that likes to be in the way. Oh, it made it past it. There, I think I am past all the injection line. All right. Just gotta get a dozen studs lined up all at the same time. There. Got the front started. And the back. All right, did everybody count gaskets? Make sure I put them all in. Well, I'm sure with these being 3/8 fine threaded, they're probably somewhere around 35 foot-pounds. Click. I like to work my way out from the middle. They seemed kind of loose when I took it apart, but then again, the exhaust manifold was not leaking. That was not why we took it off. It was just the easiest route to those return boots. So they don't have to be super tight. They're only 3/8 bolts. And I can double check them after I've run it a little bit. Everything's kind of expanded and crushed and seated in. I think that's good. Yeah. Oh yeah, that click was my elbow. I think that the elbow torque wrench says it's good. Now we just need a muffler and then we can fire up and see if the fuel flows. Oh, time for another moment of truth. See if fuel stays where it's supposed to. Check, fuel is on. Oil is fine. I need to tighten up those new fan belts just a little bit. Now that they've seated in. But no fuel squirting out. Brum, brum, brum. Love that. Love that sound. Well, I think we have another successful project done. Successfully, somehow. I'll drive it around a little bit. Get her up to temperature. Then I can tighten the manifold bolts down one more time. And tighten those fan belts. Looks like I sealed up the fuel leak, so accomplished that much. And as you saw in the previous video, water pump's rebuilt. That's not leaking anymore. But I'm still getting air in the coolant. So just a few bubbles on top. I'm not sure how well you can see down in there. Just seems like for as quick as it gets air in before the thermostat's open, you'd see a lot more coming through after the thermostat was open. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Nice breeze. Right about 70 degrees right now. It's just gorgeous. But I will get through third cutting with this, and then, well, probably park it for a while. Eventually the loader will come off. It'll come in this winter, and I'm just going to go ahead and do a head gasket on it. That's got to be the only thing left. I don't know. It's just kind of confusing. Everything says head gasket, but that test stuff says no. I did put some K-seal in it. Well, I'll run it on an auger here next time the truck comes to get some corn. Or next time I fire it up, I guess I'll see if it's putting air in the coolant and if that slowed things down for now. But try to keep what it's going to do to a minimum until I can get in there and make her right before things get worse. But until then, I appreciate everybody watching, and we will see you in the next one.